Being able to win your one-on-one matchups in basketball is going to help change the game drastically for you and your team. If you're able to beat your defender one-on-one, this is going to start to open up lanes for your teammates, open up open shots for your teammates, things like that. Even on the defensive end, if you can win your defensive matchups one-on-one, if you can stop their best player every possession, that's going to help your teammate a lot because your teammate now doesn't have to play help defense on your man. And now he can stay solid on his player, and now his player isn't scoring a lot. Now the whole team is benefiting. If you can stop that best player, now the other team has to go through somebody else, and now they're going to start to struggle. On the offensive end, it's going to open up shots for your team as a whole. So being able to win these one-on-one matchups is a huge key. So in this video today, I'm going to be breaking down some of my plays and helping y'all understand how I win my one-on-one matchups, whether that be offensive and defensive. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So these clips right here some of them are defense, some of them are offense, but I'm gonna be showing you a lot of mostly offensive clips and showing you my mindset through them. But this first clip is, of course, it's on defense. So, first clip you see playing good defense, just keeping my hand there. So I want to say on defense, the main thing is you just want to make sure you stay in the play. Like right here, he was getting into my body. He started to have me beat, but then I stayed there, stayed with him, and then just made sure I got a good contest without fouling, and then making sure I get a good contest, making sure the shot is harder for him because this is a shot he can make, but I'm making it harder on him by getting a good contest and just staying solid. So simple defensive play right here. This is another defensive play right here, making sure I stay in solid, getting a good contest without fouling. Right here, something a lot of people would do, they would just start to jump. Right here, they would jump. You see, I kind of jumped, but I made sure I didn't jump as much. Now, really, he could have beat me right here. If he would have just did a step through and got into my body right here, I would have fouled. Oh, messed up. But I would have fouled him, and he would have just had an easy layup. But you see, I'm just staying solid now, keeping my hands up, keeping my body forward, but like away from him, just walling up so he has to go through my body and then getting a good contest. I actually ended up blocking the shot. But there, if he would have just did a step through, he would have had me beat. Here on offense, just too much space. Of course, I'm gonna shoot that every time. Here, I could have shot, but I think he was expecting the shot. And this player, when he was defending me, every time he would defend me, he was like, if I shot the ball, he would jump at me immediately, or if I pump fake, he would jump harder. So there was really no like shooting on him because he was trying to bait you into the shot. Like he was just sitting on the shot. He may seem like right here he's not sitting on the shot and he's not gonna block the shot, but he was waiting on you to shoot so he can jump at you hard and get a good contest. So here I ended up driving by him. You're gonna see simple drive by and then use my inside hand. So I'm gonna go back to that. Slow that down a little bit again. So here, like you see, I have space, but I'm just looking at his feet. I make it seem like I'm gonna go to the right, go to the left. I didn't do a good job of getting into his body, but I threw off his timing so that he couldn't block the shot by doing the same foot, same hand finish, and finishing with my inside hand. So you can see he was not able to block the shot at all because of that finish. So being able to throw off the defender, you can throw off the defender's timing a lot if you're able to finish with the same foot, same hands, or finishing with the inside hand. Because right here you see, usually I would jump off the left foot right here, but I jumped off the right foot and then used my inside hand, and that helped throw off the defender timing. Because you see, I'm already in the air. He's not in the air yet. By the time he gets in the air, the ball is already at the rim. So just mixing up the finishes. Here, I got way too much space. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just shoot it. I don't he this was like not defense at all for real, but like you see space. This is a good play right here. Drew the foul. Now I want to go back to that. To be honest, uh, this was really kind of weak. But you see, he has his hand right here. He has his hand in my body. He has it like on my stomach. You can't really see right from this angle, but you can see his hand is right there inside of my space. So what I did, I brung the ball over his hand. Right here, you have three options. You can do a sweep through, or if his hand is like way too high, or if his hand is in that mid section which it is now, you can go over. So what I did, I went over, swept over really fast, really violent, so that made him move. So you can see right here, now I have an angle. I created me an angle by doing that little sweep over violently. So now you see I'm driving by him, and then here he's creating a lot of contact. The problem is I didn't create contact back. Here I should have put my body or put my shoulder into his body and created the contact so I could finish at the rim. But I still ended up drawing the foul. I kind of flopped here to make it seem like it was a foul a little bit more. And that in game that would be great. In game, you want to do that. You don't want to just be flopping, but in game that's a great tactic to use to draw those fouls because you see here he's being very aggressive. So I swept over. He's being very aggressive. Here is where I should have been getting into his body and trying to get my right foot over his body to make him have to slow down or so I could be in front of him and then I can finish right here in the front of the rim. But instead, I just kept trying to drive at this straight angle. And right here, he had a great advantage. He had great defense. If he would have just put his hands up here, then he would have been in great position to play defense, in great position to block the shot. But since he was being so aggressive, I was able to draw the foul. And yeah, I got the ball back. Here, it's a defensive play. Again, just staying in the play, throwing off his timing. Right there, he had a step back and he had it would have been a good shot, but I lunged at him to throw off that timing. So now he kind of you can see here he kind of had to hesitate on the shot a little bit, and then I think I actually tipped the ball. So this right here, I think, is an example of me doing something wrong. Uh, yeah. So here I'm going to talk about this. Here, you see I use my glide dribble. So the glide dribble gives you three options. If he stays there, you can drive by him. If he goes with you, you can change directions. Or if he bags up, you can shoot. Here, I felt like I had enough space to shoot, but I should have been changing directions. And you can see, as I was saying in the beginning, this guy was a very aggressive defender. So as soon as I start to seem like I'm going into my shot motion, he lunged right at me. So here, if I would have just did a hesitation and then went between the legs, I would have been by him. I would have been able to attack that hip and go by him. But I settled for the shot. Now, this isn't a bad shot, but you can get a way better shot than this. So I should have just did what I said. I should have changed directions and then went by him. However, I felt like I had enough space, and I did have enough space to get it off. And it wasn't a horrible shot, but I can get a better shot than that. Here on defense, staying aggressive. Here, he could have just attacked my top foot. My top foot, I was giving him this angle a lot, but if he would have attacked my top foot, that would have forced me to change my hips, and then I wouldn't have been able to defend him because he would have just been able to get into my body and draw a foul. So here, just staying in the play again, being active with my hands, making sure I get a good contest. And usually here, a lot of players will tend to like swipe at the ball. Here, you see, I'm just trying to get vertical as much as I can. I'm not as vertical as I can. I should be straight up and down, but I'm trying to get as vertical as I can and contest the shot. And then I end up getting the block. And also, you can see, go back here. You can see I kind of jump to the side of him. I don't jump directly at him. I do jump at him, but I kind of roll my body to the side a little bit. So now, if I'm too close to him, instead of landing in his face, I can go to the side of him. You see, I land on the side of him. That makes sure that I don't get the foul. And I ended up getting the block shot here. So good defensive play. Here, this was a horrible decision. Use my glide and settle for a shot again. He didn't. Did he block it? No, he didn't block the shot, but that's a horrible shot. Here, you see, I used the glide dribble. He's up with me here. Again, if I would have just went between the legs, I would have been good. I would have been able to create me an angle. Ooh, I would have been able to create me an angle. Or if I would have just crossed over, I would have been able to create me an angle. I was expecting him to bag up once I got inside the arc, but I didn't sell this enough. What I should have did here was glide and then sell it really hard like I was gonna drive. I could have took an extra dribble. I should have took a dribble towards the basket and then pulled up, and I would have had the grit shot. But here he got a great contest, and that was a horrible shot. It wasn't horrible, but by me, for my standards, it was horrible. And I feel like we can get way better shots than that. Defensive play. Again, me just standing in the play. And you see, I jump to the side of him so I don't get a foul. here. Another thing I want to say is you should be more aggressive on defense. Here I got the block. I was anticipating the shot. Let me go back. I was anticipating the shot and I ended up getting the block. But here he had his way with me. If he would have just attacked my top foot again, I was giving him whatever he wanted. I should have been more aggressive with my hands. My hands, you can see they're kind of down, a little out to the side because I was anticipating the shot, kind of trying to bait him into it. However, he had me beat because if he would have just attacked his top foot, I would have had to turn my hips and everything. I was being very lazy on defense right here. So I was just here, but I know again, knowing your opponent, the reason I got that block was because I knew that he was trying to settle for that shot. I knew that he wanted to shoot. Okay. I ended up, I think I tipped that. But here, a great move. He attacked my top foot and he hit a step back. If he would have stepped back but hesitated and then went by me, I would have been done because you see, I'm already jumping. I'm already lunging at him because I know he was going to shoot it. But here, a great thing that he could have did on offense that he could have just hesitated. If he would have just did this same thing, it's a little too far. If he would have did the same thing, stepped back and just hesitated, he would have had me beat because you see I'm already lunging at him. So I mean, you could say good defensive play. However, it was just a simple thing he could have did on offense to beat me right there. So right there, he really should have won that one-on-one matchup. However, he felt like he had enough space, and he did because you see, I wasn't jumping up and down. I was really jumping directly at him in order to try to beat him. Another one where I want to example. This is another example of me settling. So I use my glide dribble here. Same thing. If I would have just between the legs or took a dribble towards the paint first, I tried to settle for that shot. And you see he's being aggressive. He's falling for every shot. And I started to learn this throughout the match. Throughout the game, I started to learn he's going to settle. He's going to jump at your shot. So if you pump fake or you do a hesitation, he's going to start to jump. And I started to use that and it started to work. But here, just settled for this, ended up getting a horrible shot. Didn't even really get a shot off. So that's what I mean by being aggressive right there. You see how I swiped at the ball, but I should have stayed aggressive. Okay. There we go. That's an example of me using my shot fake and then attacking his top foot. And you see once you attack the top foot, it forces them to turn their hips. That's all. We want to get them to turn their hips. If we can get the defense to turn their hips, it's going to change the game for us. So you see, I felt like I have enough space to shoot, but he's kind of baiting me into it. So I pump fake, and then this is top foot right here. I'm going to attack you. Now he has two options. He can try to cut me off, or he can turn his hips completely. He can turn his hips completely and try to beat me to the spot, or he can do what he does and turn this way, like Flight calls football move. I don't know if y'all watch Flight Reacts, but he calls that a football move, and he says it's a great move. But yeah, now here I have him beat because he's turning around the whole opposite way. Now I can get inside of here and I can just get into his body and cause a foul or just get the easy layup. Here I had an easy layup. Now, a better defender, they will block this shot. So I should have gotten into his body. I should have created the contact. But here he wasn't as athletic. He wasn't a bigger defender or anything, so he wasn't going to block it. But a better defender, they're going to block that. So you want to get into their body in this situation. You want to create that contact. Always look to create that contact unless it's just a wide open layup. Here, I should have created the contact. I had an easy layup, but I should have created the contact. And let me pause there. That's what this is all about. This is all about learning what you did and what you can do to get better. Like right here, I'm creating some good plays, I'm scoring, but what could I have done to be better? Or even on the plays where I didn't score, what did I do here and what did I do wrong? Why was I not scoring on this play? So just watching these things, this is what I do when I watch my film. You're seeing how I watch my film and how I analyze myself right now. So here, I just have enough space. I'm definitely, yeah, I know I was shooting that. Way too much space. Back, you're shooting every time. So here, he does a good job of trying to get into my body right here. So this was a great play by him for getting into my body. However, I was just aggressive with my hands, active with my hands, timing that dribble. Like the dribble that he was doing, you just I don't know. But I was being aggressive with my hands and I was timing that dribble. So once he started to try to get into my body, I had that dribble timed up. Now, if I would have missed, I would have been on the other side of the court flying on the floor. But I was able to steal the ball because I timed the dribble perfectly while he was trying to get into my body because I knew he was going to try to create the contact, but I timed it. Here, another shot. Here, another shot because I felt like I had enough space. But you can see he's being very aggressive on the shot. So later on down the line in the games, I started to realize how aggressive he was being on these shots. Yeah, this is just shooting practice for. So there, this is a great play by him on offense. Um, he just unfortunately he missed the shot, but go back to it. Okay, so yeah, you see, he throws up my timing. He starts off slow and then immediately bursts out of it, and then starts to get into me, and then he knows I was gonna reach. I reached right here. I actually reached. He knows that I'm being very aggressive and I want to reach. So he hits me with the spin move. I'm still there and I'm still reaching. Right now, I'm really fouling him. I'm reaching still. So he's being patient, keeping the ball away from me so that I can't steal it, slowing down, and then this is a good shot by him. I just stayed in the play, made the shot a little harder by staying in the play. But this is a great shot by him. Just missed this barely. But that was a great play by him on offense. So this is what I mean by getting into somebody's body. I use this little low step right here. You can see use my low step to explode by him. And then once I started to get by him, I started to create the contact and slid and tried to slide in front of him as much as I could. So you see me sliding in front of him. So now he can't get a contest. Only thing he could do is potentially block it from behind, but he wasn't gonna do that. He wasn't gonna block it from behind. So being able to slide in front of that person, creating that contact and sliding in front of them so they can't block it. Okay, here. That's again being aggressive with my hands. So right here, I was beat. I was really beat. He had me by a step, and if he would have just kept going, he would have had a layup. But I seen that I was beat, and I was being aggressive with my hands, being able to time that dribble again. Here, it's like you have to be able to know how to time it because if I didn't time it correctly, I would have won either fouled him or I would have just missed it in general, and he would have had an open layup regardless. But if you feel it right here, if you're getting beat like this, you want to just try to wall up as much as possible or try to beat him to the spot. All right. So you don't want to be too aggressive on this, but being able to time that dribble and staying in the play because here I was beat. I could really just give up, or if I had defense in the paint, I could just try to force him into the help. But I was staying aggressive with my hands, staying in the play, and this is why I was able to get this stop. So here on this play, pull up mid range. So this is what I was trying to get those first couple times when I took that bad shot. So first you see I'm throwing off the first you see I throw off the timing. I catch the ball and immediately go. He's not expecting that because every other time I would just be patient, but you see I immediately catch it and go. I was trying to take a dribble into the paint. The other times, this is what I should have done. I should have taken a dribble towards the basket, causing him to bag up and throw off that timing. And then now I'm able to pull up and get off a good shot that he can't really contest. The other times I was settling. I was doing my little glide and I was just settling for the shot immediately. This time I took dribbles towards the paint and now I'm able to get into a good shot. This is a much easier shot, a way better, way higher percentage shot. And you see he's all the way back there. He's really not able to get a contest on this. By the time he's up there, shot's already off. And then I just fall and lose my balance looking goofy. But yeah. Here, another shot. If I had that much space, I'm gonna shoot it every time. Here, I'm sure he was tired because That was no defense. All right, so another defensive play. So here, this wasn't bad offense by him. Here, if he didn't just pick the ball up, if he would have just like hesitated, I was falling for this. Before he even picked the ball up, I was already falling for this, expecting him to shoot the ball. So again, those hesitations here, if he just do hesitations, these would work. Here, like here, I'm already expecting him. I see he's picking the ball up, but this is another one of those things. I made a video on how to be shifty. This is another one of those things. And if he dribbles one way, you move the opposite way. He dribbled the ball to the left and moved towards the right. If he would have just kept his dribble alive at this point, I'm already going towards him. You can see I'm already starting to go towards him now. Let me go back in. You see I'm already starting to go towards him. If he would have kept his dribble alive, I would have been beat. He would have had a wide open layup. Here I was able to tip the ball. I was able to stay in the play, but he had an open layup if he would have just hesitated right there. All right, here you see his hand is there. His hand is on my hip, so I'm keeping the ball away from him. And here I can either sweep through or what did I do here? I started to go by him and got into his body. Now, this honestly is good defense by him. Here, like I said, his arm is on me. So what I should have did is brought the ball over his arm and then started to attack that top foot. However, I started to use my little load step and then I started to try to explode by him. However, he was sitting on this. This is what he wanted me to do. So to beat this, I tried to get into his body, which is fine. But here, what I should have did is a bump euro. If I would have did a bump euro, this would have been a way better shot than what I got. I got into his body, but if he would have just pulled the chair here, you see how off balance I really am. If he would have just pulled the chair here, I would have been done. So here in this situation, you want to do you want to be aggressive, but use your bumps, use your euros, use your bumps because he's sitting on this. He wanted me to go this way. Also, take what they give you. Here, I didn't take what he was giving me. He was giving me this, but he was also giving me that little over, but being able to bring the ball over his arm. I had that easily, and he was giving me that top foot. I should have took that. I should have took the sweep through or brought the ball over his arm. But I tried to create the contact, and I did. And then he was actually very aggressive because he almost took the ball here, but I just tried to keep it away from him as much as possible. I ended up making the shot, but in reality, that wasn't a good shot. I can get a way better shot than that, and I have to attack better than that. Now here, you're starting to see how I'm starting to learn how he plays. I would have just glided and then took the shot. So here, I jab, made him move a little bit, attacked him towards the basket, and you see how off balance he is. Me attacking towards the basket, very aggressive, made him bag up so much, and now this creates that space for that step back. And now you see how wide open I am. He has to lunge at me to even be able to stop this, and that creates an open shot for me, and that's an easy shot. But the reason that I was able to get that again, I started to learn how he plays. I started to realize he was very aggressive. He was biting for things. So this jab, he bit on that jab, and then me attacking towards the basket very hard. Now he's all the way sliding back, all the way back here. I'm stepping back, and I have an open shot. So being aggressive, being able to really sell that attack, sell that drive, is what got me open right there. All right, so this is a defensive play here. I just stayed in the play here. He had me beat actually, but I stayed in the play and was able to get that block. Now, I actually fouled him. If you pay attention to my left hand, I think it was my left hand. Yeah, my left hand, you see it's on his body. So once he goes up, this is a foul right here. This right here is really a foul. In the NBA, the referee can call this, and this would be a foul all day. But I kept my hand up, kept myself in the play, and was able to get that block. But again, I really fouled him. If the referee wants to call a foul there, they can because my left hand was on his body. Another play, just staying in the play. That wasn't a bad shot by him though. Travel. This was this was just a tough shot. I here. So first, I actually traveled. You see, I didn't take a dribble before that. I actually traveled. And then here I tried to create the contact and then get into my spin. And that's the only reason I was able to get this shot off because here I created the contact. So let me go back a little bit. So start here, I create the contact. You see, I didn't push him off, but I created just enough contact with the little bump that I was able to get enough room while he was going back to spin. And then I got this spin off. And by the time he got towards me, the shot was already up. He wasn't able to jump and contest it. If he would have jumped from where he was, he would have got no contest. And so he just ran at me, and then I was able to get that. But the key to that was being able to create the contact through that bump and then getting that step back into that spin. I kept this in the video. Most of the videos have been of me or some defense of me or something, but this was a great play by him. So you see, he's being patient. He sees that he's giving him this top foot, so he's gonna eventually attack that top foot. See here, he attacks it, and so he starts to beat him, but he gets into his body, creates that contact, and now he feels like he can have a shot. But he knows this defender is being aggressive. He started to learn how this defender was playing throughout the game too. This defender was being very aggressive with him. So instead of settling for that, creates the contact again while he's in the air. Now this is a foul. This is a foul, and there we go. He has a shot. Being patient. He was very patient right here. This is a great play by him. Creating the contact originally, seeing that that defender is very aggressive, using that pump fake, being patient, just constantly being patient, getting him in the air, drawing that foul, and now he has the shot. That was a very great play because of how patient he was. So using that patience, being patient, and learning the defender throughout the game. Here, he learned the defender, and that's why he was able to realize that okay, if I pump fake here, he's gonna jump at me, and now it's a foul or I have an open lane. You know, so being able to learn the defender throughout the game. Okay. So here on this play, I'm just being aggressive again with my hands. So being able to time that and swipe the ball from him. He had me beat, but I was being aggressive with my hands, being able to swipe the ball away from him. It's just no defense. He jumped at me, and that helped me get off balance. All right. So you see here you see his arm is right there. I don't grab the arm completely, but I use my off arm to swipe at that arm to get it away from me. So now he's a little off balance. That arm isn't directly in the play as soon as I start to drive. So now I'm starting to drive. I have an advantage, but he tries to beat me. So I create that contact again with my shoulder, leaning to him, and then now I'm able to get this step back and get the little shot off. So again, the whole key to this play here, go back a little bit. The whole key to this play here, first, of course, using my off arm, swipe at his arm, throw off his timing, and then getting into him, leaning into him to be able to get that little shot off. Right there is a great shot. That's a shot anybody can make. Great shot people can take. So here, I was just being patient, just kind of trying to go make him go to sleep a little bit, you know. This isn't really a shot that you want to settle for in game though. This right here, you don't really want to settle for this. But I was just being patient, making him go to sleep a little bit, then shot. A thing that I do want to talk about here is I shot from like I brought the ball here. I didn't bring it up my shot path from my knee to the shot path. I started from right here and shot the ball. So being able to shoot the ball from these different places, being able to shoot from up here at your head or starting down low, bringing it from the other side of your body, being able to start here. If you can be able to start the ball from different places and then shoot the ball, that's going to help you a lot and be able to get these shots off. Because if I would have just went into my regular shot motion, he would have blocked the shot. But I was able to start my shot from all the way up here and get the shot off in enough time so that he couldn't block it. However, in game, don't settle for that. That's not a shot that you should settle for. Now this one, on the other hand, of course, if they have that much space in between you, shoot that every time. All right, so here on this play, I do a shot fake. Did he jump at it? Okay, no, I jab and then inside hand. So here, something that I could have did was get into his body. However, first, start with a jab, make him throw him off a little bit. You see, once I jab, he jumped that way. That helped me create a little bit of an angle. And then he wanted to reach from behind because I had him beat. He realized that I started to have him beat and that I was gonna. He started to learn me on defense. He started to learn how I play. He knew that I was gonna get into his body and try to create that contact. So instead of doing that, he tried to kind of pull the chair a little bit and reach from behind. So I didn't create the contact. I stayed on balance and just finish with the little inside hand layup. Because here, I kind of thought that he was still going to try to contest. That's why I finished with that inside hand. But, you know, another shot because the hand was down. So here, he did great. He had me beat. This is what I was talking about on one of the other plays. How if he would have just kept attacking my hip, he had me beat. Here, he had me beat. All right. If he would have created the contact here, he would have had me. Or even if he would have went up with the little fade here, he probably would have had me. But the reason that I was able to stay in this play was because I just was being patient. I didn't fall for it. I wasn't jumping at everything. I was just keeping my hand up, getting a good contest. Okay, go back on that play again. Here, just little scissor step, using that off arm to get over him, finishing the layup through the contact. So here I had enough space to shoot, but he was so far back, and I wanted to actually I wanted to work on my game. So I attacked him, and then I threw off his time by doing this little scissor step. And you see here, I'm looking the opposite way of what I'm going. I'm looking the whole other way and selling kind of like I'm gonna go that way, and then I kind of do a head fake that way, and then scissor step, and then I get my arm over his shoulder. You can see it's a little blurry, but you can see my arm here is over his shoulder, and that is what helps me create that and be able to get that contact and finish that at the rim. So here, a great example of me using my body to create that contact. So here, I start to attack him. I use a little hesitation here to throw off his timing, of course, and then I start to attack him. And you see he being aggressive, so I use my shoulder and I create that contact and lean into him, and then he tries to reach over me, but you see I'm sliding in front of him. You want to be able to slide in front of these defenders. So every time I drive, I don't know if y'all are able to notice, but you should be able to notice that I'm trying to slide in front of them with my dribble, or even here, I'm jumping in front of him or trying to create that contact. Even if he was still beside me, I would be creating the contact so that now I'm kind of drawing a foul or I'm able to finish through that contact because I initiated it. So here you see I'm trying to initiate the contact or slide by him. Here I ended up sliding by him in the air. Now he's behind me and unable to block the shot, unable to do anything because it would be a foul. So being able to create that contact, sliding by defenders and creating that contact. All right, so here on this play, seeing how he plays me, do a little jab to see if he bites. He didn't bite on it at all. The reason he didn't bite on this, wait, we go back. The reason that he didn't bite on this jab is because I didn't sell it. I, I jabbed right at him, but I didn't sell like I was gonna go anywhere. I didn't sell like I was gonna really do anything. I kind of did, but he was being patient and didn't bite on that. So then you see, I get into my little scissor and then step back. That's a tough shot. This is a shot that is good if you're working on it. Like this isn't a bad shot because you can work on this and make this. However, again, he's being very aggressive. If I would have just stepped back and hesitated, you see he's already in the air. If I would have just stepped back and hesitated, I would have had the shot. But I work on this. I work on this little step back from the mid range, and this is why I was able to get this shot off and be able to make this. So this is a good shot for me. However, here If you would have just hesitated, if I would have hesitated and then just put it between my legs, I would have had him beat. There, just staying patient, staying in the play. So here is another offensive play where I dribble towards the basket, attack them, and then rolls up at the mid range. So you see, again, attacking towards the basket to make them kind of bag up. This is really like kind of some weak defense, but attacking towards the basket and then just hitting that pull up, throw off his timing. He's unable to get a contest on that. If he jumps, he's gonna be too late. So this is what I was talking about from the beginning of the video. Here, I learned how he was gonna play. So this is what I was looking for the whole time. I get here and I do a little shot fake. You can see I look at the rim and I kind of bring my hand towards the ball to make it seem like I'm gonna fake, and I mean to make it seem like I'm gonna shoot. Ah, I bring my hand towards the ball and I look up at the rim to make it seem like I'm gonna shoot. And you see he jumps directly at me. He's all the way in the air, and I have a wide open layup. This is set up because all the other times I started to realize how he was being aggressive. I started to realize that he was gonna jump at every shot attempt I took. So I attacked him towards the rim, made it seem like I was gonna get into my mid-range pull-up, but I hesitated. Now I have an open shot. So this is what I mean by learning how your defender is playing you throughout the game. If this was the beginning of the game, I probably would have just settled for the mid range. However, I learned how he was playing me, and that's how I was able to no hesitate, and I got the open shot. Yeah, that's a tough shot. So here, you see, his back is almost turned to me. So I start by attacking this top foot, and I really could have had him beat. I really had him beat. But he kind of slid over and cut me off. So I got into my spin, and then once I got into my spin, I felt that he was still there. Like you have to be able to feel it. I knew that he was still there, so that I was able to get into my step back and get this shot off. But the whole thing came from creating that contact. He had his back turned, but if I didn't create this contact here, if I didn't create this contact, none of this would have worked, or he would have just been able to take the ball, or I would have just been jammed up. But you see, I created the contact, got it to my spin, and that made him start to slide back. And then now I'm in my step back, and again, that's a shot that I work on, ends up being a good shot for me. That was a tough bucket. I gotta watch it one more time. This was a tough bucket. I'm not gonna lie. This was kind of tough. This is kind of tough. That was that was tough. That was tough. I ain't gonna lie. That was tough. So here it's a defensive play again where I was just staying aggressive, staying in the play. So he hit the step back, but I ran at him, didn't jump too early, ended up getting the block. I almost fouled, but I got the block, just staying in the play. Again, here, just a little short jumper that I work on. So being able to get to your spots. Here, these aren't easy shots, and these aren't really just necessarily great shots, but these are shots that I work on. These are shots that I get to, that I know I can get to, and I know I can knock down because these are like my spots. I talk about getting to your spots. I've talked about this in other videos, getting to your spots to help you score more points. This is a situation where I'm doing that. So I attack him, I stay tight to him, and then I see that he's gonna cut me off, and I have no layup really. If I try to do a layup here, I'm most likely gonna get blocked. But again, I got to my spot. This is a little area I know I can make a little shot from. So I get into my little spin, and I'm able to create that space, get the shot. get into your spots. These aren't easy shots, but for me, they're pretty simple, and I don't think twice about them because I'm getting to my spot during these shots. So here, that was a great example of learning the defender. I told y'all throughout the game, I started to realize he was very aggressive. So hitting this little hesitation, he's in the air. Now that's an easy layup, because again, I started to learn him. I knew if I attacked him, he was gonna bag up a little bit, but he was still sitting on that shot. He's always sitting on that jump shot, so he's waiting on you to shoot the shot. So here, if I would have just did a mid-range pull-up, I'm getting blocked. But knowing how my defender is playing me, knowing okay, if I do a little hesitation here, slight little hesitation, scissor step, and now he's in the air, wide open shot. So learning that defender, being able to use these little hesitations to get defenders in the air, and now you have an easy layup. All right, so here on this play, I attack at the mid range, and then I'm able to get that mid range shot off. Now, here, I didn't hesitate. I could have hesitated, but I felt like I had enough space. I felt like he was already bagging up. He wasn't expecting the shot. Here, he was bagging up. You still see his feet moving, and you see he reaches at the ball and then tries to get. He doesn't even try to get a contest. He reaches at the ball first. Here, I felt him bagging up. I realized he was bagging up. I was able to get that shot off. That's why I didn't hesitate on that one. Again, just staying aggressive, staying in the play on defense. So here, he kind of had me beat, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he had me turn my hips, kind of had me beat, but just stayed in the play. My hand, again, is on his hip. This could have been considered a foul. Now, the only reason the ref would probably call this a foul is because of how he looks going up with this, because my hand's not on him. This just looks like a flop, anyways. But you see, I keep my hand up, being aggressive. You don't see me swatting at the ball immediately, but I'm keeping my hand high, making him have to finish through that hand, and then swatting at that ball, able to get the block, being able to time that. Here, just had enough space, being able to get the shot off. All right, so this is defense, and there, keeping my hand there. Here, this is where those ankle breakers start to happen. Those little pullbacks. That's where the ankle breakers happen. These are ankle breaking plays, man. But here, I just stayed aggressive with my hand, getting my hand inside of his core so that now he has to pull that ball back through me. He's trying to get like a slight little push off with that. You see this left hand, he's kind of pushing off a little bit, but he does a good job of disengaging. You see Shy do this all the time. Shy, he doesn't get fouls called on him when he does that because it's really a disengage. He doesn't really push off. Here you see, he doesn't really push off. He just does a disengage dribble, really. So it's like disengaging that arm instead of pushing that arm to push me back. So I just stayed aggressive with my hand, and then that was the reason I was able to get that. Here, great defensive play. I mean, great offensive play. You see, he's attacking him, and then he creates the contact. No, that is not a charge. That would be a blocking foul, if anything, because he's sliding his feet still. So you see, he attacks him immediately and creates that contact. Is that's everything. Creating that contact, being able to create that contact is gonna open up things a lot for you. Him creating this contact, and now that defender's off balance, he's on the ground. He has an easy layup. He missed the layup. I had to watch this. He was missing the layups out here. Oh no, he didn't miss that. But yeah, being able to create that contact. Here, I just stayed in the play. He didn't have to. He shouldn't have picked the ball up there, but So this play, what I was trying to do is hesitate, get him in the air. You see, other times he was jumping at that, and he kind of did, but he stayed solid and slid with me. So here I tried to counter that by getting into him and creating that contact. Here again, if I would have just bumped zeroed him, I would have had a way easier shot. But once I bumped him, I stayed strong with the ball, and he wasn't too aggressive after that. That's not really good on my part. He was really playing good defense by staying solid with me. So that's a tough shot. So this play right here, we're gonna wait till it gets to it. On this play here, I just pushed the ball out. So I started to drive by him, and I wanted to get into my mid range pull up. But if I would have just pulled up from right here, he's so close to me. This is an easy block. So you see, I kind of pushed the ball out over here, and so now I'm creating that space. Me pushing that ball out creates that space, and now I end up all the way over here in one dribble. I was right here. I'm ended up all the way over here and have an easier shot. Okay, so here is another play. Um, he starts to reach on me using that off arm, that right hand, using that off arm, and then getting close to. Well, I wasn't really close to him, but I felt him reaching again, and so then using that inside layup. Now he can't block that. That's gonna help you against aggressive defenders, bigger defenders. They can't block those shots because inside hand and then same foot, same arm. This here, bad shot that I settled for, but I ended up making it. Let's go back and watch it. Here, I was just trying to get into my Siri. I didn't ask you nothing. I was trying to get into my little mid range pull up, and I had it, but he was there. If he was just stayed aggressive, just came closer to me, it would have been a block. That wasn't really a good shot at all. Okay, there I just stayed in the play, not falling for anything. This was he really could dribble. This guy was really good at dribbling actually. So you see here, he was really getting shifty with me, trying to throw off my time and everything, trying to speed me up, trying to make me jump at things, but I just stayed solid, not trying to fall for little things, and that's why I was able to do that. So here, that was actually some pretty good defense. But again, we talk about getting to the spots. This is something that right here is a spot that I practice and I feel like I can make my shots from. So here, I attack him. Here, I should have sold that drive a little bit more. If I would have sold that drive, I would have had the little step back way better. But you see, I'm able to get into that step back, get into that shot, and make it, knock it down. But if I would have sold that drive way more, I would have had that. This is some 5v5 gameplay that I had at the end. I, I meant to cut this out, but here, I don't know if you can see me over there. Here, I just threw off his timing because I was going slow and then I sped up and then just drove by him. He wasn't able to block it or anything like that. I think there's one more clip in here. Yeah, this is another one of me throwing it out in the mid range, so you can see here. Let me go back just a little bit. Hold on, it's the first clip. So here, I started attacking my defender, and he was sitting on that drive, and then this guy here was ready to help. So what I did, I threw the ball out again in the mid range, and now he's all the way back there. He's not able to get a contest, and I'm able to easily knock that down. So just throwing off the defender time.